What's up, guys? Here with you with episode 5 of FC Wonderkid. How are you, Bretson? Are you okay?
I'm loving this, man. We are getting ready to start a massive summer of football.
Massive summer for sure, but I'm pretty excited just off what I just saw from the Premier League. That was
Yeah,
crazy, right?
that was crazy. Chelsea backing into the Champions League. Liverpool, we got to give them credit. I mean, come on, they had they were out of contention in my opinion a little while back, and then here they are finishing what third place when all is said and done, and right into the Champions League. So credit to them.
Yeah, and no Virgil van Dijk.
No Van Dijk.
And
Oh,
did you
goodness,
see what
I actually
happened
forgot
with
about that. Somehow forgot about that. Van Dijk was injured. What? First 10 games of the year? Not
after
even?
the and Pickford
Yeah,
living
yeah.
life.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
so yeah, but did you see the Wijnaldum moment too? That was pretty good too. Like
Uh,
the at the end game.
I'll be honest, I was watching the Chelsea game, and Pulisic got his assist, pulled them back into it, and then it was just not a fun game to watch.
Okay. Okay.
Um, but even better, City ending with that 5-0 drubbing of Pickford, right? No, Pickford, was he even in goal? I have no clue. But 5-0 win over Everton, right, to end the year. Um, what a year it's been for them, and they're going to try and put the cherry on top on the 29th. And right now, I got to say, I'm not reconsidering, but Manchester City looks almost way too powerful for Chelsea on the 29th in the final.
Mm,
But we have other things to talk about. So,
won't be easy. Won't be easy. So we're gonna start with our first topic, and that's gonna be three lineups that we want to talk. Like one of them is of the reigning the Euros champions, which is Portugal. The second being France, which were the runners up.
mhm.
And the third, because England has so many young talents going right now, we're going to talk about England too.
Yeah.
So let's start with the English squad. You want me to go with the 11? How do you want to do this, Fred? And tell me.
Well, you and you're always texting me about lineup choices and things like that, and you know me, I'm normally like, hey, well, I don't really care, I just want to watch the game played. So I think you starting with what you think your 11 is going to be, and then I'm just going to basically throw criticisms at you left and right. How's that
Okay.
sound?
No worries. No worries. Okay. So
Oh,
I feel like England are going to line up with three center backs.
oh,
Okay.
okay.
Stones, Maguire, if
Hmm.
Maguire comes back from injury,
Hmm.
and Walker at right center back.
Interesting.
Okay. Then on the right wing back,
Yeah.
we got here a choice that I feel like it shouldn't even be a discussion.
Sure.
And unfortunately, it is.
Yeah.
And Trent Alexander Arnold and my team, English team, should start
Yeah.
because he's won the Champions League. He's a man built for big moments. Okay. And him not starting is I don't understand it. I'm sorry, but that's I get really mad with that one.
Well, if you go in the three center back route with him at right wing back, I mean, it makes almost too much sense when you look at the other options, right? The other options are Kieran Trippier, which
Yes.
I believe you're going to find that that's who Southgate brings and starts. But and credit to Trippier, obviously winning with Atletico, but we'll get down that road.
No,
You have one.
no, no, not even Reece James, not even Aaron
I
Wan-Bissaka.
know.
Trippier.
There's a glut of options
Yeah,
here. A lot of
but
options. The issue is yeah, the least defensive, or you could almost even call him a liability, but he has improved in the second half of the season is Trent Alexander-Arnold. But then you look at how in the last two seasons, not even just this past season, which has obviously been a pretty bad year for Liverpool all around, although getting Champions League football after all of that makes it a whole lot better and more palatable for a lot of Liverpool fans. But he's been what, top six, top seven in the Premier League in key passes, big chances created. He's got the best cross easily on the team, and I didn't think I'd agree with you. I thought you were going to pick somebody else, but I think TAA at right back has to happen.
I
I
don't know
just
why Southgate doesn't think alike with us, but He has his own reasons, I guess. So I'll just say the lineup, and then we could discuss each position. So
Sounds good.
Pickford, Stones, Maguire, and Walker.
Yeah.
Then wing backs, I'd put Luke Shaw on the left, Trent on the right.
Mm-hmm.
Two midfielders, I'll put Declan Rice and Jordan Henderson. Then front three, Foden, Kane, Sancho. If Foden starts over Sterling at Man City, why would Sterling start for England ahead of Foden? Guardiola. I think Southgate sees something that Guardiola doesn't. Like, I feel like that's the message. If that's gonna happen, the Sterling playing on top of Foden, like Southgate is seeing something that Guardiola doesn't. That's crazy.
He's a pragmatist. I think. I think you're gonna find it's more so he likes his comfort food and he sticks with it, right? I mean, he knows Sterling. He feels he knows Sterling, and that's. I don't see how Raheem Sterling doesn't start for them. I'm in agreement, and I'm biased. Right? We're both biased in the sense that we really want to see a guy like Foden get his chance, but I don't think it's gonna.
I don't think it's bias. Brennan, I disagree because Foden is one of the best players in the world right now, playing. Like, if he's in the final of the Champions League, I understand he's 20 but he's still starting above Sterling and Man City. I know I won't be surprised if in some matches I see Mason Mount and Declan Rice because that is a very good duo. We might see at Chelsea next season, but
I think you also have to worry about Henderson's fitness, right? I mean, he's just back. He's just back, and it's not going to be, he's not going to necessarily have a bazillion fixtures to get back into the swing of things. So, yeah, I mean, I do think Declan Rice is going to play a pretty outsized role for them, and to be honest, I think he's going to be massively important. And frankly, although I think we're going to get a little. Or I'm going to get hit hard for this, and maybe rightfully so. I think he's been massively underrated this year in terms of the work he's done for West Ham. I really do.
I agree. 100% agree with you.
Good.
And even when it's Sosek and Declan Rice, that is a very good duo in midfield. And when he got injured, you noticed like West Ham, they weren't having Mikel Antonio and Declan Rice were two huge losses for West Ham this season.
Yeah.
It could have been very different. But do you think Jude Bellingham will be selected for England?
I don't.
Okay.
And I'm gonna leave it there. I think just Gareth Southgate. I don't think he's bringing him.
And Mason Greenwood.
I also. Goodness, you're killing me with it. It's tough. It's tough. I mean, the depth. I mean, we haven't even spoken about where Grealish fits in, right?
And Saka. Saka gets selected. Does Saka get selected?
Here's the issue there. If Saka goes, there's versatility there that obviously a Mason Greenwood doesn't have.
True.
Right? And he can fill in a lot of roles. And oh man, I don't know. Like we said in the last episode, we do not envy Gareth Southgate's position because either way, he's getting killed. And hell, there's already been hashtags trending saying Southgate out, and I'm not even entirely sure for what. But on any given day, it's some different issue. It's a very thankless job right?
Exactly, it is true. The England job might be the most difficult managerial job in football.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's a hot take because the English media is ruthless.
It is.
And like an England manager is going to be judged for everything, even blinking. Like they'll make a scene out of everything.
I mean, I still remember Fabio Capello taking over a while back and how much that was like, whoa. And then the whole David Beckham kick out in the Argentina game. I mean, these are things that I don't live in England, and I'm sure we can get some people that give us kind of firsthand, thoughts around this. But it is a different place. I mean, they live, eat, sleep, breathe, whatever you say, football. And this is one of the strongest teams. I mean, the depth that they have, it's enviable. It's
Very
enviable.
true.
And
But
frankly,
I'd
it's
like
only France and Portugal that has it too, next to them. And
but I want to see Mason Greenwood. I would
mm,
no, sorry, rephrasing. I'd love to see Mason Greenwood learning with Harry Kane, just like
yeah,
he's learning with Cavani. Because I am noticing that Greenwood is becoming more of a deadly finisher, and I do think that Cavani is having an influence on him because in training sessions and even when did you see the semi fighting scene that Mason Greenwood had with those two players in the Europa League?
yeah,
Like Cavani, like there's a good chemistry between them, and I feel like if Harry Kane were to help
mhm,
Mason Greenwood, like it would exceed the potential, and
sure. Yeah, but like you got Sancho and you've got Rashford. They're going.
no, Rashford. Yes.
Sancho, Rashford. I don't see how you don't bring Grealish, Kane. I just don't see how, Greenwood gets the chance to do what he's going to do. And it doesn't seem like a move Southgate would make, but I don't know.
Well, I'm prepared to see anything now.
Okay.
Let's see. But now let's go with the France lineup.
Sure.
Okay, so in goal, Lloris.
Mhm.
At left back, Lucas Hernandez. Above Theo. Okay,
Okay.
which I wouldn't be surprised if I were to see Theo. But so I'd put Lloris, Lucas Hernandez, Kimpembe, Varane, Pavard,
Mm-hmm.
Kante, Pogba. Then on the right, I'd put Coma.
Mm-hmm.
At the left, Mbappe, and I put Griezmann at the cam position. And up front, I put the legend that would play at number 19, Karim Benzema.
Benji.
Oh,
Mm.
just fun fact: the France jerseys increased sales by 2,400% after Karim Benzema announced he was gonna come back to play for France.
Seems like a
So
big number, but that is a massive economic impact. But then again, I don't think France is going to this tournament thinking they want to sell more jerseys.
but they're gonna go to the tournament thinking they want to win it. So, and Benzema said that the go kart was Giroud and Benzema was the Formula One car.
Oh,
So, but it is true though. Benzema is a level above Giroud, right?
oh yeah. Well, yes, yes. I mean, there are things that Benzema can do that obviously Giroud it's not in his toolkit. So yeah, I mean, it's just whether obviously you're not taking Kareem Benzema there to play a role player or do anything like that. So he either has an impact or he's a massive disappointment. I don't think there's any in between. You know.
True. And we
Um,
might we might be talking that Mbappe has already won a World Cup,
yeah.
and if he were to win the Euro,
Yeah.
Mbappe has a World Cup and a Euro maybe.
I mean, he's
22.
also going into this tournament with some of the best form we've seen him in. Obviously, him manhandling Monaco midweek. So you got to keep him healthy, protect him. But I also got to throw out there was one addition to the roster I really like to see. I don't know how much he's actually going to play, considering France is in the group of death. But a guy like a Jules Koundé. Kunde getting a role or getting a spot heading to wherever they play their group stages. I'm not
Very
entirely
good
sure
point.
where it is, but his season for Sevilla, and obviously they trailed late on in the year, but man, Sevilla was in it. They were in it for La Liga title a while, very long time actually, and he was a massive reason why. And of course, I say that after I think their last La Liga game. I forget who it was against, but they lost 5-0. So moving on.
100% agree with you. And it's going to be a very interesting summer for Jules Condé. It's going to be because if I am a top team, there's so
Yeah.
many good center backs available, and there's a need. There's a
Yeah.
lot of teams. Chelsea has a need to get a center back. PSG, which we can talk about this more forward, but I'd like to see Ramos with PSG. Just
Yeah, and one of the other things I have to say about Kunde is that he actually has a versatility to him in that I believe he can play out wide and also can play in the D mid position. Maybe he's bringing him for that reason and that reason alone. But
No.
I gotta tell you, and this is a little off topic with this, but it's France. We've done this before, right? Where we've tried to list all of the French center backs that we would take in a heartbeat. I mean,
Yeah.
it's impossible. And even putting a filter on it like U23, right? Under 23 years old. I mean, think about the quality of the guys that are not going, right? Wesley Fofana,
Upamecano.
Upamecano, and Fofana unfortunately just got injured, so hopefully that's not too serious and he can actually play a role in the U21 Euros. Benoit Badiashile. I mean, so many names. Ibrahima Konate.
Yep.
Max Lacroix from
I like
Wolfsburg.
him.
I mean, just so many good young center backs that obviously aren't on the plane because you can only take so many. But man, that
Saliba would play for many other national teams. So
yes, yeah,
that's well, Usemaor, Kamavinga wasn't even picked.
you got to make him favorite for the U21 Euros, which the knockout rounds are actually coming up end of this coming week, right? I think.
Well, I think Portugal may win that tournament because Vitinha in the European under 21s, he
Did
was
see that, yeah, but no
the
Pote,
group stage.
no Pote.
Pot's not gonna be in the under 21s.
Nope.
He's with the big boys. Pot's with the big boys. So we're gonna go to the Portugal lineup.
With that, yep.
Okay, I'm gonna say two lineups.
Okay.
And this is very important to me because Fernando Sanchez is not my favorite coach. I'm going to say that straight away. But I do admire how he manages to always win. Like in the Euros, I was so anxious, like with all those draws, and actually going to win it with Eder's goal. I know the lead up, everything, Quaresma, Renato with that goal. Oh, there's so many amazing moments. Yeah. But the style of football that Fernando Sanchez plays, it's like Simeone, and it's so unfortunate that Felix has, like in my opinion, two styles of football that are not very attractive for him. But I'm gonna say the Fernando Sanchez lineup first. So Patricio in goal, then at the left, Rafael Cruyff. Pep and Ruben Dias, and at the right, it's gonna be Cancel.
Yeah.
Then the three midfielders. It's gonna be Moutinho, William or Danilo, and I wouldn't be surprised if he played Ruben Neves even something like crazy like that.
Wow.
Like I wouldn't be surprised. I hope Fernando Sanchez starts Bruno Fernandes.
I think you have
to. You have to, but the Portuguese people are gonna understand me. It wouldn't be a surprise if he doesn't start. Like, yeah. And then the three up front for Fernando Sanchez. We'll have Bernardo Silva, Cristiano Ronaldo at striker, and the left I'd say Diogo Jota is gonna be the choice.
Well, you and I are in complete agreement on that front three. Do you think?
That's not my front three.
Do you think he plays a role at all?
Can I say my 11 now? This is how I would play Portugal. I'd play Patricio.
Yeah.
Nuno Mendes at the left. Pep. Ruben Dias. Cancel. Then the three in midfield. I'm going to go bold. I'm going to go Bruno, Palhinha, and Renato. That's my choice. Renato's going to win Liga. And I feel like that's a testament to his level. He's gone a long way, Renato. And I don't think starting João Moutinho does have the experience, but let's give the youth the chance. And then the front three, it's bold, but I'd put Ronaldo at the left, André Silva, and Bernardo Silva at the right. Because André Silva and Cristiano Ronaldo both together have more than 50 league goals.
Right.
Together. Like, imagine if they have to play together. I
Well,
want to see.
they have the goals together, but they don't actually have them together.
That is
So,
true, but I want
so
to see a
I,
chance being given. Like, I
yeah,
just want to see Andre Silva having a chance, you know?
I just
And on
don't.
the
I just don't think in a you're coming in. Okay, so you take
tell
how
me,
it was 5 years ago, right? Take how it was 5 years ago, and it's like all the stars aligned for Portugal to make a run for it. But man, you look at this, you look at that 2016 roster versus right now, and I've seen you obviously and how you talk about it and how you get all misty eyed. Thinking about the amazing talent, the amazing depth that you have on that roster, but it is night and day. And the issue is it going to hurt Portugal or help Portugal in that they're going into this very much considered one of the favorites with one of, I'm not saying they're the favorite. We all know France probably takes that role.
I agree.
Not probably. I mean, definitely takes that role from day one.
Yeah.
But France, Portugal, and Germany in the same group. Then the likelihood is if France tops the group potentially, Portugal in second maybe. If Portugal's in second and England wins the other group, you got an England-Portugal round of 16, and someone's going home very unhappy.
I'd love that.
It's
I'd
amazing.
love that.
It's amazing.
Portugal against England. Oh. Ooh, I hope Bruno Fernandes plays that game because all the English players are going to get so mad at him. I can absolutely see it. Oh.
What, you mean when he gets 2 penalty kicks and he converts both of them? No, but I got to go back. I mean, I love that you have the confidence that a Nuno Mendes can do what you would expect for someone to do. But I just don't know how you don't start Rafael Guerreiro there. I mean, he's been pretty damn consistent for Dortmund, linking up. He's been actually in attacking when there weren't goals to be had. I mean, basically when Haaland decided he wasn't going to score or something. Guerreiro early on when there were injuries, he was a big reason why they stayed afloat.
I agree. I agree. It's bold.
But how did you say Rafael Guerreiro? Because that one blew me away, and I know the comment section is going to love it.
Rafael Guerreiro.
Oh,
Rafael Guerreiro.
Wow.
That I know it may. I'm Portuguese, so Rafael Guerreiro is the way we say it. Ruben Dias, Rafael Guerreiro. But Nuno Mendes, trust me, Breton. Like he is really. I have never seen a left back so young and so good.
Okay.
That's why I really trust him because I've been told too that Nuno Mendes is an extremely humble person. Okay. And I can see him going to the training sessions with the right mentality, the right focus. His vice is working hard. Okay? Yeah. This kid works hard. And I feel like Ronaldo's going to see Nuno Mendes with that work ethic. And he's going to say, I like this kid. I like this kid. Put him on. And Ronaldo is the shadow coach. That's why Moutinho's going to play. Yeah. That's why Moutinho's going to play. Because Ronaldo wants it. And I'm not saying it's bad that Ronaldo has his own demands, but we need to be realistic and know about them. Mm-hmm. So the top players want the team they want.
Yeah.
Basketball's the same thing. LeBron GM and all that. Football's the same thing. Footballers have a big say on who plays.
Putting Nuno Mendes in a situation against a France or a Germany is going to be really interesting. So that'll tell us whether or not your confidence gets broken in him. But then again, like you said, kid's 18 years old. He's got the world ahead of him. And I agree with you. Yeah, if Ronaldo puts in a good word, it's going to happen. But man, it's going to be tough. And you also have to remember, if you get past England in the round of 16, all of this in my head, right? Yeah, if Portugal gets past England in the round of 16, I believe the next one up, assuming Spain doesn't pull a World Cup, the last World Cup, right?
Yeah.
So the last, doesn't do one of those. You're going to have, the Iberian showdown between Portugal and Spain
Portugal beats England and beats Spain.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you're winning this tournament, you've got, one of the hardest road to get there. And it would be absolutely impressive if Portugal does it, or it's
We've
just
got the team. We've got the team to do
you
that,
do have
though.
the team. Yeah, you do. I'm in agreement.
So, yeah, and there's the wild card too, Pot deserve to be called to the first team because those numbers in the league, like a person who scores 23 exactly goals in the league
Oh, man.
needs to be selected for Portugal at 22.
Yeah. Casual hat trick on the final day, right?
Exactly. Casual. Like
Casual.
it's the counterattack. Sporting plays such a cool way and Palhinha crucial.
Yeah.
Palhinha crucial.
Well, he's a guy that I've had to read up more on because I haven't been able to watch all the sporting games.
He's a
But his
good
name,
find.
obviously, in our conversations, his name has always popped up. I know he's 25, so he's a little older than who we would talk about. But
Hmm.
yeah, you've mentioned many times how crucial he's been to Sporting's win, and
I want him to start for Portugal just for you to see how good Palhinha is. I want him to
okay,
start.
yeah,
And I wanted to say this. Gonçalo Inácio not being called to the under 21s nor the first team. I wouldn't be surprised if Gonçalo Inácio was called to the first team of Portugal.
okay.
So yeah, he's such a good center back, and he's not even called to the under 21s.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well, I
it's
speaking of center backs, I have to pose this question to you. Okay.
ask
So
us.
if Ruben Diaz wins the Champions League with Manchester City on the 29th, and then he goes in and wins the Euros with Portugal, would you have him on the short list for Ballon d'Or?
100%.
Okay. Yeah,
A
I'm in
hundred
agreement.
percent.
I'm in agreement.
Because if he pockets
Yeah.
Benzema, Harry Kane in those matches in the Euros, because if Portugal is gonna beat France, England, Spain, he has big players to stop.
Yeah.
And I believe Ruben Dias can do that. So, and I like he's gonna I've got extremely high expectations with Ruben
Well,
Dias.
does he even need to win it to be in that conversation? I mean, I think he definitely has to win the
Yes,
Champions
he
League with
does.
City.
No,
Okay.
no, no. But he needs to win the Euros too,
And then I
because
had one other comment here, not to move on so quickly, but I know,
Mhm.
we got a lot to talk about. Renato Sanchez, how is this kid 23 years old still?
he stepped onto the scene really young. Rui
Yeah.
Vitória trusted him. If it weren't for him, Benfica wouldn't have won that league
Yep.
with that Brian Ruiz huge.
Brian Ruiz.
Like Brian Ruiz had one of the biggest like I can't even explain what I saw that day. Like Brian Ruiz having that miss was one of the worst moments of a Sporting fan ever. Like I'm
Well,
not a Sporting fan, but I know they suffered, and having a kid like Renato Sanchez stepping up, that's why Bayern got him straight away.
yeah.
Bayern
We,
was like, he's too good.
in our parts, we know the name Brian Ruiz. He's been a pain. He's been a pain in the U.S. men's national team ass collective ass for years. So him and Joel Campbell, which is another name.
Oh, he was at Sporting too.
He was
Oh,
at Sporting. I did not. I actually
yeah.
did not know that he was at Sporting.
He
Wow.
was. He was on loan from Arsenal. And I
Oh,
think he had a couple of goals here. And people were saying, oh, he's coming back. He was.
yeah.
Sporting fans were very hopeful about Joel Campbell, I think. I remember at the time.
Well,
Like, there was a big thing for Sporting fans. Towsend was going to come too.
yeah.
Towsend.
Hmm.
Andrew Towsend. Like, the
Hmm.
Sporting fans were really. Like, just to see the improvement that the club has done with Ruben.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So, next topic. uh, top 5 European, top 5 Euros Wonderkids.
Well,
That's
how
gonna
about
be
this? How about this? I haven't had a chance
oh,
to list them.
oh
So why
sorry.
don't we? Well, just meaning it's almost impossible because I can't get into the managerial heads. Um, there's 10 collectively between us, right? That we think are
Okay.
going to have an impact or going to have a really cool narrative. For I can't believe we're literally talking about something that's less than 3 weeks away, which is like
Amazing.
it's going to come fast and furious, man, and then it'll be over before you know it, and whatever. But yeah, let's start there because I really want to hear who you're thinking U23 wise is going to make an impact.
Well, you want me to start with the first one? Let's do one me, one you. Let's
I
do
like
one at
that.
a time. Okay.
Let's do it.
So I'm gonna start with Jeremy Doku for Belgium
Yeah.
because what I saw this season in Liga was a player that's extremely confident dribbling wise.
Mhm.
He is not scared of going one on one with any player,
Mhm.
and I feel like he's going with the same attitude to the Euros. And I wouldn't be surprised even if Liverpool were to see him in the competition and say we're gonna get him, because
Okay.
now that Liverpool are in the Champions League,
Yeah.
they might get a winger. So,
Yeah.
but Doku, I won't be surprised if Doku plays some games for Belgium.
I think you're right. I think think about it. You can almost like picture it. You put him on in the 75th minute, 80th minute, and let him run at people,
Mm-hmm.
and that's pretty much what he's good at, very good at, and he's building around that game. But ultimately, yeah, like you said, he's absolutely fearless. Has been even in the transition from Anderlecht to Stade Rennais.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think he's not bringing him just to sit with him, but
I agree.
Roberto Martinez knows he's got a young gun and he's going to use it. And I think he'd be stupid not to use it. But
Again, next to De Bruyne and Lukaku,
uh,
Doku is gonna learn so much. It's gonna be so cool. I'm very excited for that to
that's
see him.
that's a good one, and that definitely, if we were to be ranking it, that he'd be in my top five for sure. But I got one here for you. I'm gonna go with right now David Turnbull. Okay, young center mid, and let's be honest, he's probably the only good thing about Celtic this year. Right, Celtic stopped winning the Scottish Premier League this year due to Stevie Gerrard's Rangers team. But Turnbull,
Unbeaten.
yeah, unbeaten. But did they? No, I think you're right, unbeaten. Yeah,
They
maybe.
were unbeaten the majority of the season, so
That
that's pretty
might
that's a good achievement itself.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, this Turnbull kid, he had to wait. Well, basically wait until there was a managerial change. But he sat on the bench for a while, right, and didn't really get his chances. But when he was playing for Celtic this year, I think he ended up the Young Player of the Year in the Premier League, the Scottish Premier League. And he's been probably the only silver lining of that. And hopefully, if you want that Rangers Celtic rivalry alive and kicking for years and years and years to come, and you don't want a lopsided thing going on there,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to build around Turnbull there. And he got called up. He has no caps right now for Scotland. So the fact that he got called up is pretty interesting to me. But he does offer something on the roster that they don't really have, and vision,
I agree. I
determination. I mean,
like
they
that
have
pick.
they ooze determination. But Turnbull's been great, and the other person we love that he's going. I don't know. Well, maybe he will play. You tell me what you think. But Billy Gilmore.
I think he's
Um,
gonna play. Yeah,
you think he's going to play? He's also has no caps. So him
I
him and
like him.
Turnbull,
I like Billy Gilmore. I
I do
like
too.
Billy Gilmore. So you said two there that they're pretty good. They're ones to watch.
There are
Scotland,
ones to watch.
they might
Yeah.
play. They might play. They might play. My second pick is gonna be Dominic Szoboszlai
Okay.
of RB Leipzig.
Yeah.
Why? Because one of the best moments I've ever seen a European qualification moment was Dominic Szoboszlai with that amazing run against Iceland in the
Yeah.
stoppage time
Yeah.
and scoring the goal that puts them in the Euros. I don't.
It's
This moment is underrated. One of
yeah.
the most underrated moments in football is this Hungary qualification moment. Like
I'm
he
with you.
was unbelievable. I don't know what, like the feeling he had, but I was shaking, and I'm not even Hungarian, and I was like, "Whoa, like what just happened?" We like oh so
They
and him being in the group with Germany, France, and Germany, France, and Portugal, it's gonna be a big test for him, and I'm super excited to see him stepping up against all these big teams. I'm very excited to see Dominic Szoboszlai.
And I just hope, again, just like a Jordan Henderson we were talking about, I'm hoping he's ready and
Mm-hmm.
fit. I know he was back to training for Leipzig, and I can't tell you how excited I am to see him in the Bundesliga next year. But that's a good pick. I really hope that he can feel as confident as he was previous to his injury heading into this tournament. But yeah, you're not going to have much of a margin for error. when you're playing the likes of France, Germany, and Portugal. So
True.
that'll be interesting. Well, my next one is, and I'm gonna bust this name up. So pardon me, right?
No worries.
Sasha Kolachik, who has just been absolutely outstanding in the Bundesliga this year. Another guy that was not really playing much earlier in the year, and then he had 16 Bundesliga goals. And a lot of that was basically in the last 3/4, last 2/3 of the season. Big boy, right? 6'4", 6'5", target, get good positioning. And he is, Austria has like half of the Bundesliga on their roster. And I don't see, looking at the other guys that he's up there with, Gregorich and all them, I don't see him not starting. And he has every reason to become a pretty big breakout star, assuming Austria doesn't underperform as a squad. But
that's a very good pick.
Yeah,
he's underrated.
He's underrated.
He's a very underrated player.
I got to say, timely goals he's had this year. I mean, he's like the amount of late game-winning goals he's scored has been pretty impressive. But
crucial.
Moving on.
My pick's gonna be Gravenberch because I'm gonna be very excited to see Gravenberch coming off the bench and playing next to Frankie De Jong, because I'd love to see that midfield one day, playing at Barcelona or maybe somewhere else, because they're really good. And Gravenberch, like that end of the season for Ajax, he really pulled it off.
Yeah.
And I feel like he deserves the chance to even have minutes coming off the bench in the Euros.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I'm most impressed with what Gravenberch did. I mean, he did not have a good start to the year. In fact, many were like, I think we handed the keys to the Ajax midfield to a guy too soon. And then he really picked it up late in the year. They obviously won the Eredivisie. He won, I believe. Did he win Young Player of the Year? I think he might have.
Yes, I feel like yes.
And just obvious that would be the case, and was absolutely instrumental in his last 10-15 games for him. So I'm excited to see that. I'm going to shout out, although this doesn't count as my top 10, I'm going to shout out also Owen Windall at left back for and I really like what he offers. It's going to be pretty interesting to see how he fits in, but I think he's going to play. So no, Gravenberch is a very solid choice, and I hope we see him. And I actually hope to see a resurgence of the Dutch team. I really do. I'd like to see him do it.
Give it more years, a couple of more years. The league maturing more. Yeah. Virgil van Dijk being there. You need Van Dijk there, and he's not going to go. So that's a big loss for the Netherlands.
I thought the league solves all problems, man. Thought he does.
Not all. Not against Portugal and France.
Yeah, it's their life. Well, you know what? They might have an easier route, right? Later on.
Let's see.
So we'll see.
Who's next for you? Two more names.
My next one is Casper Kozlowski.
Okay.
17 years old. I don't think he's turned 18 yet. Okay, but this kid has a story. First off, he was one of I believe he actually already made his Polish Ekstraklasa, and I probably busted that up too, debut before this happened. But beginning of last year, with a couple teammates, he was in a massive car wreck. I believe he broke his pelvis, broke his back, and obviously had this long road to recovery that somehow, when all was said and done, he comes back stronger than he was before. Now, that's probably not entirely true. He's 17, but this kid made his, obviously had an impact, and then made his Polish debut, and makes the final roster. And once again, like a Jeremy Doku, you don't bring this young guy just for experience. You bring him the same way you're bringing Jamal Musiala. They have something in their toolkit that you want to utilize.
I agree.
And Kozlowski will do that. And once again, you get a Kozlowski in an environment with a guy like Louis, right? Lewandowski. That's just going to be...
It's one for the president future. And
yes.
He deserves it. Especially after that story. Amazing.
Brutal.
I'm gonna go with A player that I feel is gonna have a very big summer, very tricky summer, and
Mhm.
that's Ozan Kabak. Because I don't know if Liverpool are gonna activate the clause, and maybe they're waiting to see the Euros to
Mhm.
have their answers. So he's gonna play with pressure. I think he hasn't played for Liverpool since April. I'm not
Yeah.
sure, but he needs to prove himself, and what better opportunity than in the Euros? So
Yeah.
he's my fourth pick, Ozan Kabak.
Yeah. Those Turkish center backs, man. There's quite a few of them. The Turkish defensive spine is going to be pretty damn good for years
I agree.
to come. I don't know if I'd go as far as saying they're. I wouldn't call them a dark horse because I don't necessarily think that they have any business. But I mean, they could find their way based on the groups. Could find their way into the semis somehow, just based on quality of who they're going to be meeting in the round of 16 if they actually make it through. But yeah, that's a good pick. I have too many more to announce. So what I'm going to do is I got like three, and I'll just be
Okay.
really quick with them. Alex Izak, I wouldn't have said this until Zlatan can't make the Euros, right?
Okay.
Okay. Alexander Izak has been absolutely phenomenal, even without Martin Odegaard supplying him. And I believe he had 16 or 17 goals in La Liga this year for a weakened Real Sociedad. But once again, this kid, positioning wise, he finds himself on the end of a whole lot. But him working with an Emil Forsberg, working with a Dejan Kulusevski, the Juve kid. I honestly believe he could have a pretty outsized impact for Sweden.
I like
Um,
those. I
yeah.
like
I mean,
those.
yeah. The
Sweden
next one,
deserves more love.
yeah, and I think previous if Zlatan was there, you're still going to see Izak, but now you're going to have to rely potentially um, on him. But we'll see. The other one is Manuel Locatelli.
Okay.
Complete, probably in my consideration, and I actually want to hear in the comment section what people think about this. I think he's the most underrated player in Serie A right now, Manuel Locatelli.
He's
Um,
up there.
yeah, stud for Sassuolo. And I honestly believe that, yeah, he's destined for pretty big things. But him, Barella, I mean, that midfield, I'm telling you right now, Italy is my dark horse. And it's weird to say Italy as a dark horse, but
Mhm.
this is a different team. This is a team that's still growing, and just Chiesa, Barella, um, uh, yeah,
I
it's
like it.
gonna be
I like
it's
it.
gonna be a
I
fun
like your
team
choice.
to watch. And then the last one I've got here is, and I'm gonna kill this pronunciation, but Alif Elmas for North Macedonia. All right, set piece, can't call him a king. Set piece prince.
That's James
Um,
Ward-Prowse. James Ward-Prowse
if
is the
North
second.
Macedonia is going to do anything, my guess is Elmas makes the impact. So that's one that I know we've got a lot of people that he's on their radar. He's one that you'd like to see really start to make an even bigger impact in world football. I think if you're going to do it, you might as well do it at Euro 2020, right?
I agree. I agree. Those are really good mentions you said right there. So there you go. We
Oh,
have
man.
more than 10 picks for you to see. Remember the names. Like, subscribe the clip because I'm gonna cut this to put this as a as a just a video. And yeah, pretty cool. That was really good. I love the Elmish pick in the end. It was
Yes.
really good. So now we're gonna move on to the topic of La Liga. So it's all said and done. Atletico have won it. Suarez has had his redemption, and Barcelona are looking like a bad deal for Bartomeu again. Again. Like how many was it David Villa that went to Atletico and Atletico won the league? Now Luis
Yep.
Suarez goes to Atletico and Atletico wins the league with
Yep.
21 league goals. Suarez
Look.
had 21 league goals, and seeing him call his family at the end of the game,
Oh yeah.
fantastic moment. But
Tug those
this
tug those heartstrings.
for sure. But this moment is gonna cause so much havoc in La Liga now because what's gonna happen with Real? Zidane's not staying.
Don't pose that question to me. That's too tough of a question.
No. I don't think Real is gonna stay with Zidane. I don't think Zidane wants to stay at Real. If they don't get Mbappe, he doesn't want to stay.
It's going to take some financial accounting to get Mbappe.
Well, I did see that the short list for Real in sales is going to be Varane, Marcel, Mariano Diaz, Hazard, Bale, and they're trying to renew the contract with Sergio Ramos. And I don't know if Sergio Ramos is gonna.
I'm sorry, Alex. I don't know if you can sell Gareth Bale after his wondrous brace today that sunk Leicester once again. His value might have just shot up way too much. Can you sense a little sarcasm there?
I could sense it miles away from
Portugal.
Yeah.
And cutting bait or cutting losses on Eden Hazard, God, that's got to be one of the worst pieces of business they've done.
Chelsea got a good
best pieces of business Chelsea's done in some respects. In other respects, I don't know. Eden wanted out, right? He wanted a new challenge, so it made sense. They got premium value for him. Real Madrid was more than happy to pay, and man, it's. Well,
I wouldn't be surprised if Chelsea were to get Hazard again.
Oh, that's what you're saying.
Come back home. Oh, if Hazard is available for 50 million or 60, I think Chelsea might get him.
Then he takes Pulisic's 10 back. Come on, man.
Look, it's Hazard we're talking, so it's. I'd love to, look. I think like Callum Hudson-Odoi maybe in the future will need recalibration. A lot needs. So, well, keeping La Liga topic. Yeah. Now Barcelona. Yeah. Xavi rumoredly was on holidays in Barcelona, and rumors suggest that he met Laporta. So Xavi might be the next Barcelona coach.
That's interesting though. Like he didn't just renew his contract as a coach, which I believe you can still be doing that. The same way you renew a contract with a young player and then you sell them off for a higher price because now the contract legally values essentially the player higher. So that still could be the possibility, but I think he just renewed. And I don't know. I mean, who do you go for if Xavi is not it?
I would go Erik ten Hag, but I know that he's just renewed with Ajax.
Yeah.
But well, I would go with the suggestion that I'm going to do in the next topic, but I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it right now, but people will understand it later. But it's very interesting though that you need to. I think Laporta knows that if Ricky Puig is going to renew his contract, Koeman won't play Puig. I don't know what's happening between Koeman and Ricky Puig, but he won't play him. I don't know if that's enough for Koeman to go, but it has an effect on how he's going to play these La Masia talents.
Right.
Well,
it's not a well. I mean, that's the fact that we're even sitting here and talking about the future or potential future and rocky future of Real Madrid and Barcelona. That's kind of like a seminal moment, is it not? Like Atletico Madrid actually, if you look at their core, and if Simeone and company can keep that core together, there's no reason why. I mean, they had a little mid-season mishap where they had a pretty crappy run of form for a while. But they have all the parts, all the role players in there to potentially do this again. Obviously, assuming Real Madrid doesn't bring in an Mbappe or a Haaland or something of that sort. But it's going to take these types of business, this high business acumen, to get Real Madrid and Barcelona essentially back at the top of La Liga, because I think Atletico has the better core.
I agree.
Right?
I agree.
Interesting.
And it's the two teams that are in the Super League. So we might have karma of the Super League happening because Juventus might not be going to the Champions League too.
Right.
So Karma is, I won't say the rest, but I think the majority of of our viewers know. So let's end it right there. But congratulations, Atletico, for winning La Liga, and let's see what's gonna happen in the future. So our next topic, I'm excited for this one, and this is a suggestion from a viewer of TikTok, and we are gonna see the comments on YouTube. So if you want a topic in the future, please comment it, because we are going to be looking and we are going to be following your topics. And a viewer sent in saying we want the Tottenham rebuild topic, so we're going to debate that. You want me to start with? I've got some ideas for Tottenham.
Go for it. I'm ready.
Okay, so Tottenham, who I feel like Nuno Espírito Santo is going to be the next Tottenham manager.
Okay.
I wouldn't want Nuno Espírito Santo. I want Leonardo Jardim at Tottenham. Because I feel like people forget what Leonardo Jardim did at Monaco.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if there's a rebuild happening, like Leonardo Jardim made a rebuild with Mbappe, Bernardo Silva, like so many of these players became beasts with Leonardo Jardim. So, and Harry Kane's going to leave. Okay? I don't know if it's going to be for 100 or 120 million, but knowing Daniel Levy, I think he's going to get the 120 million from one of the Manchester teams. It's going to be next season. We're going to see maybe or Bruno Fernandes or Kevin De Bruyne assisting Harry Kane. Like, the scenes are going to be pretty. The Premier League is going to be looking really cool with this.
Either it'll be looking really cool, or it'll just be Serie A when Juventus was kings.
No,
I don't know,
no. Let's see. But who do you think is going to replace Harry Kane?
Well, so first, before you get to Harry Kane, right? The Daniel Levy conversation. That's the thing. There's a little bit of a vibe in Tottenham, like there is at Arsenal, in the sense that there's a massive camp that wants Daniel Levy out and thinks that regardless of what coach you get, regardless of what you do for the club, Tottenham can't move forward until Daniel Levy is out, right? Issue there is he ain't leaving, in my opinion. The same way we talked about Stan Kroenke, he's not leaving. That's all aspirational and wishful thinking. But what I do know is Mourinho, Pochettino, I think he's going to stay closer to home when it comes to his managerial replacement. And I believe that it is not going to be out of the country. I think they're going to be looking at Graham Potter. I think their ideal candidate is Brendan Rodgers.
Okay.
I don't think Rodgers is going to leave. We talked about that a little bit last week, right? I don't think Rodgers is going to leave because you've got a sympathetic owner. You've got, not quite a war chest, but you've got a whole bunch of money and you've got a really nice setup. Tottenham is still looking for that setup. And you want a guy that has a system. You want a guy that knows what he, sticks to a system, even if he doesn't have the proper parts, which also kind of sounds bullheaded. But Graham Potter is outperformed with a Brighton team and with tools that, he really has no reason that they should have been mid-table last year. And I think their 16th place this year, I think it's 16th place, is a little bit harsh on some of the football they played. They beat City. They beat City once this year. Yeah.
Well, and Tariq Lamptey became a fantastic player.
Yeah, and they took 4 points off of Liverpool. They tied Chelsea, drew Chelsea. Sorry.
That's a good pick. That's a good pick. But...
I honestly think he's going to stay closer to home, and he's not going to spend. He's not getting Ten Hag, which I also thought would have been a good pick for Tottenham. I don't think he's going to get Rodgers, although if he splashes 30 million on Rodgers like Bayern did on Nagelsmann, you never know. So I do think he sticks closer to home. I think Graham Potter is somebody you can grow with, a pretty young managerial pick, outperform with a team without a striker essentially for the whole year. So I think you'll see that. And that would then lead to who do you get for Harry Kane? And if I'm Graham Potter, I don't know if I'm going out and looking at the ideal ones. And my view is like a Dusan Vlahovic.
I was going to say him.
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
Uh,
No,
and
but we're thinking alike though. It's good.
yeah,
Good.
yeah,
He's the
or right,
perfect number 9.
yeah, or if you want somebody, because Harry Kane was playing more deep lying most of the year.
He's the perfect choice.
A,
He's
a
the perfect.
Paulo Dybala though. How about
No,
him?
I go Dusan Vlahovic
Okay.
first. He has got 21 goals in Serie A this season, and he's
Yeah.
21 years old.
Yeah.
He is so underrated. He's the youngest goal scorer of Partizan's history.
Yeah.
He is so good.
And he was doing it for a not a very good Fiorentina team this year. So
True.
it's
He's
impressive.
such a good pick. Oh, I was gonna say that. Oh, but Tottenham do need another position. That's center back.
Sure.
I think a good choice would be Sven Botman.
Yeah.
It's an economically wise choice, let's say. But if Tottenham were to show that they're gonna compete for the top 4, they need to get Jules Koundé.
Okay.
Jules Koundé would show that Tottenham means business. Do I think they're going to get him? No. Do I think they're going to look at a cheaper option? Yes. Unfortunately, yes. And I feel like that's why teams like Chelsea, United, Liverpool are setting the gap with Tottenham. Tottenham need to spend the money. Mourinho wanted Ruben Dias.
Yeah.
Imagine if Ruben Dias had gone to Tottenham.
I don't think
it would make a difference. Maybe City wouldn't have won the league, Yeah. So the domino effect would exist.
Well, I'll tell you what, if they get Graham Potter, it's going to look more like Ben White than it is Ben Botman. But we'll see.
We'll see. Let's see.
Yeah, but and the other thing you got to look at the other replacements for Harry Kane. If you look within, if you've got 120 million to spend, you can get a center back and two fairly good strikers that play different roles, right? You could more deep lying, more false nine, or you can get a straight out and out striker like a Tammy Abraham on the cheap to actually give you a backup you want to play.
I don't think Tottenham will accept Kepa and Tammy Abraham in cash. Daniel Levy will look at that bid and say, how could you offer me this? Like, he wants the money. Daniel Levy wants the money. He wants the 120 million on the spot. Here you go. Because that's what Harry Kane deserves. Like, if you're gonna sell Harry Kane, you're gonna get top dollar.
And what are they? They're Europa League. They did sneak in, correct, with that win over Leicester?
Yeah, Arsenal out of the European competitions.
Oh my goodness.
My gosh.
Here's the crazy thing, just to end on this, right?
Sorry.
Tottenham, man, that new stadium, it almost feels like it's barely even been used because of COVID, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
the beer technology.
It's a sleeping giant that really should be, I
100% agree with you.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. So we only have 5 minutes here, warning. Okay. So we need to be fast on this topic. But Wonderkid of the week, who'd you got?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna go with I think we sort of discussed this before.
We did,
right? You want me to say the English guy,
Let's
correct?
Let's make a duo Wonderkid of the week this time. So.
Yeah. Well, we've already mentioned the one earlier, but this guy, and speaking of Arsenal falling out of contention for Europe next year, Joe Willock, right?
Yeah.
You want a guy that goes in and they say, hey, we're going to send you on loan. We want you to make a big impact. And oh, by the way, it's going to completely catch you by surprise. But good luck, have fun, and you're going to go to the tune. You're going to go to the tune. And what does Joe Willock do? Well, he transitions a little bit, and end of the year he scores 7 goals in 7 games and becomes, I believe, the youngest player to do 6 and 6.
Youngest, yeah, that is true.
Everywhere.
That's a crazy stat, and he is the only player to score in 7 consecutive matches next to Alan Shearer. That shows levels.
And that's not just for Tottenham. Or I'm sorry, that's not just for Newcastle, right? That's like all of Premier League.
I'm not because Vardy had the crazy season.
Sure.
So I think Alan Shearer, but still Alan Shearer, like, ugh. And the other pick for Wonder Kid of the Week, Pedro Gonçalves. But
Yeah,
they won
yeah.
the league, but Pedro Gonçalves wanted to have a show, and what a show he had! What a player! And
So,
then he got the Euro call up, which was deserved.
uh, I agree. I just do you think he? I mean, we should have discussed this before, but do you
Super
think he
sub,
play? You
super
think he
sub.
plays a lot?
He's a wild card. I'd start Pot ahead of Rafa. He's a wild card. He can play in midfield or he can play up front too. He's a very good piece to have. I like him. I
Yeah.
feel like he deserves to be there.
Do you stay up at night thinking about all the roster permutations?
I could. And Pedronet not being there,
Yeah.
that injury is such a blow. I'd love to have Pedronet going to the Euros too. I'd pick Neto ahead of Gonçalves.
Okay. All right.
So
Well, that
we're
there's
ahead
a
of Rafa too. Like Neto is, in my opinion, was better this season than both.
I definitely agree there.
So we're gonna end it here. Everyone on TikTok, thank you for the love. If you're still here, please like the video. It's a huge help. Follow the channel and peace.
Yeah, and we just know we are trying to get to all the comments, either YouTube or TikTok, but we really do appreciate all the love. So
For
we'll see
sure.
you guys next week.